Andy Lou, peaceful Friday afternoon, getting a haircut. You got a haircut too. We both got haircuts.
Looking good.
Thinking, gonna go into the weekend, have a good time, going to my friend's wedding. Shout out my guy Eric. And then we get the notification from Shams. The notification you never want to get. And that is that the trade may be in jeopardy because Gary Payton II has failed a physical from the Warriors. Payton's core muscle injury could sideline him up to 3 months. And on the backs of Carlos Correa, not what I want to hear.
You just stole my thunder of Carlos Correa. I've lived 31 years of sports existence, and I have never watched any trades, any signings, anything fall apart because of a failed physical, and now I've seen 2 in the past 2 months. What is going on, Sam? What is going on? I think this one's worse because the Giants weren't going to win anything anyway. That was just a cool signing. Get something that makes you excited. This is worse. This is a team that's fighting for its 5th championship immortality. This guy was someone that was going to bring the energy back, the vibes back. You see how Steve Kerr was smiling today? Now it all goes to shit, or maybe goes to shit because of this. Just what on earth is going on? Where do we start?
You bring up a good thing. Steve Kerr was all smiles today. I haven't seen that man that happy in a long time. He got back one of his guys, just was ready to get going, and now we have this. So we wait because the Warriors have until Sunday, I want to say, to make a decision on what they want to do here. And a lot of moving parts, my friend. A lot of moving parts.
My first thought is, and let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? Do you do the trade anyway?
Well, I think
it. What are the options?
So, what's interesting is, I don't know if you guys knew this, but I'm not a doctor.
Fuck.
And neither is Andy, even though we play one on TV. So we have a friend who's going to come on who actually is an accredited, licensed, non-joke internet doctor to come on and walk us through what exactly is going on. Dr. Raj, how you doing, my man?
What timing.
Hey, what's up, guys? I was just shooting up some Toradol, so.
Okay, so
not funny. Look at that. He's not even smiling. He said that with a straight face. Is killing me.
First off, I appreciate you because I hit you up very last minute, and to be fair, didn't see this coming. Otherwise, I would have given you more advance notice. But such is life. So you referenced Toradol. That was the one big thing in Shams' report. The Blazers training staff has been pushing him to gut through it and giving him Toradol shots. So can you walk us through what that means for those of us who don't,
Yeah. I think first thing we have to understand, usually I wonder, the report is often, like when you hear this, for me, typically pushing someone through is typically something that's agreed upon with the player, right?
Sure.
So like they understand the risks. And I think GP2 even has a quote where he's like, just have to thug it out, something like that, right? You got to play through it. And so I think he probably understood that he has to play through pain. And so they're using Toradol to help relieve some of that pain. So, I mean, typically what happens, man, there's so many players who are playing through injuries, right? I don't think that's any big revelation, right?
Sure.
And so, especially with these recurring injuries, to me, the big thing here is the last line. This had not been relayed to the Warriors. I think that's where you can really get into, and that's really where the issue here is, that they didn't know about this plan of care or this treatment. And that's when it becomes a lot more, I don't know, I guess what the word is, but it just becomes a lot more shady there because you got to relay that over, right? Like, dude, we've been treating this guy with painkillers for X amount of time. And so, of course, that's going to play into how severe the injury may or may not be. But the only way for you to know that as the Warriors medical staff is for them to tell you that. tell you the whole plan of care because that's going to factor into kind of some of that risk reward aspect and whether we should actually trade for the guy or not. Yeah, so it's
So taking a step backwards, just to be clear, like GP2 had an abdominal surgery in September. I believe that was, yes, actually September 16th, underwent a successful abdominal procedure, expected to make a full recovery by the start of the regular season. He obviously was not cleared to start the regular season.
Yep.
Not that that's relevant to this. He started playing in January, and so just walking through it, is it normal for abdominal surgeries to linger longer, and is it normal to treat these things with painkillers? Or I guess my question here is, like, it's not a common injury. I really can't think of a situation quite like this. So, like, provided context.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can play through them. I'll give you an example. Dame played through a core injury for a bit of time during the season last season, right? And then finally had surgery. But in general, I mean, it depends on one. It always depends on specifics of the injury. I mean, abdominal is a lot of different abdominal core muscles, so it depends on that. And so it's not uncommon for a player to come back from a core or abdominal injury and have some discomfort, even post-surgery. Why? The core is involved in, right, like pretty much every movement, especially in basketball, contact sport. So you're going to have a lot of load through there. My guess is that it just wasn't, that discomfort was at a higher level than what they anticipated, because usually you come back, right, you start ramping up, you have some discomfort that's within certain parameters, but then as you get used to it, it tends to dissipate. And so my guess is that it was something that just was constant and too high for him to handle, but still probably something that their medical staff felt was still okay to play through. But that perspective depends on the medical staff, right?
Yeah.
That's why every medical staff is different. And let's be honest, the Blazers are also kind of playing to stay in the playoff race, so that factors in too.
Right.
And so your risk reward scenario changes depending on the team as well. So that it could be that factor as well.
The Warriors. If there's a team that's going to slow play something, it's the Warriors, right? Which brings me to my question. Let's assume the trade goes through. We saw a timeline that GP2 is going to be out 3 months. Is that
could be up to 3?
Could be up
potentially.
to. Yeah. So what does that even mean? So I guess they had it all. Someone also reported. Jason Dumas also reported he's doing X-rays tonight, which is weird to do. But I guess they're still testing. They don't know. So I guess what is. Like, if they do the trade, is he going to be out a week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months? Like, what the hell is going on?
I mean, honestly, your guess is good as mine. There.
No idea.
That's really hard to say. Up to 3 months could even indicate potentially another surgery or something of that nature that's required. The fact that he said X-ray rather than like an MRI makes me think it might be something where like the muscle attaches to a bone and they want to see what's going on. Right, because an MRI would be for soft tissue for the muscle itself. X-ray is going to be more for like a bone to see what's going on. So that, or it could just honestly just be a misnomer. I've seen plenty of those. So, but timeline wise, that's the thing. We don't really have much information at all. All we know is that they didn't relay all the information.
Let me ask you this, because this is the one thing we do know. Toradol. What does that tell you if that's being used to? Is that just a painkiller, really? Like at the end of the day, or is that a common painkiller for this type of injury? Or
I mean, that tells you it's probably a good amount of pain that he's going through.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what it tells me. It's not just your normal, hangover.
Couple Advils. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not your, anti-hangover Advils.
All right.
Tomorrow morning, baby.
Dr. Raj, we appreciate you hopping on last minute. Anything you want to plug with 3CP Performance, anything like that?
I think just plugged it. So it's all social media channels, and thanks for having me on as always.
Chain of the snapback, that's fucking elite, dude.
Good timing too, because we play all tomorrow. So.
Good for you guys.
Have a great evening, my man.
All right, fellas.
So yes. We're going to have to wait to see how this plays out. But that is like the one thing I got from that is it's not your run of the mill ibuprofen 600 milligram type of treatment here. And the chat's letting us know GP2's only had 3 dunks in 15 games this year. Part of me thinks that's because Dame,
the
gravity to set him up the way Steph does. No, but it does bring up the question, is he athletically limited? Is that what's going on?
To me, I think the fear here, because part of me feels like the Warriors, what are you supposed to do? You got to bring James Wiseman back? You know what I mean? I feel like unless GP2's out, unless they find out in the next 24 hours that GP2's out for the season for sure and he's out 6 months, I think they've got to do this trade. That would make me happy.
Yeah, man, how you doing? You good?
I would bring him back. Come back, my man.
I know you like it. How long you been back, man? I see the girls in the club, they're getting wild.
This is going to be Wiseman when he comes back, right?
Wow.
You smile at me. These rap
That's old school. It's really old school. I'm not laughing. It's not funny. It's not funny.
A couple people told us that we brought bad karma with the end of the road last night. So, Tim, no.
We're having too much fun.
No.
We're having too much fun.
Okay, jokes aside. It would take a lot for them to walk away from it. Let's walk this back. So one,
it would take a lot. You think they would take a lot?
They either go through the trade or the whole thing falls apart for 4 teams. They can't do the thing where they're like, well, we just don't want GP2, but we'll keep the picks. Or they can't go back and be like, all right, we'll just take Sadiq Bey instead. Like, they're not allowed to do that. That's the thing. It's a 4-team trade. If they pull out of it, everyone's screwed.
Okay.
What that tells me is I don't think they're going to do it unless they feel like it's an absolute must do. Which now...
What do you mean? They're not going to do what unless it's...
Well, so it's a 4-team trade. So to pull out of it, they would need it to be so bad that they're willing to just kind of like... They're not just screwing over Steph and Draymond and GP2. They're screwing the Pistons over. They're screwing the Hawks over. They're screwing Portland over. It's not a good look for the Warriors to walk away from that deal unless it's so bad that they don't have a choice. You get you follow what I'm saying here?
I do, but I feel like, are the Warriors thinking of these other teams? Like, I think at the end of the day, they're just thinking about themselves.
Yeah, but you got to do business with these other teams. You know what I'm saying? You can't just do it for no reason. It's got to be like, nah, man. Look at you. Look at these medicals. You do the same thing, and then everyone will be like, I get it.
Also, my buddy who's a doctor texted me. He's like, "What the hell is a core?" He's a doctor, and he's like, "Well, no idea what a core muscle surgery is, dude. Like, that doesn't even make sense." He's like, "What does that even mean?" He thinks it's something else. He thinks it's a hernia. That's why I was on my phone. I think that. I think I agree with you. I think the Warriors can't move away from this unless he's out for 6 months, and this is something that they feel like is going to come back up next season. Right? If they feel like that's the case, like the Carlos Correa, literally, that's what the Carlos Correa ankle was about. It wasn't about the next 5 years. It was about if you sign him to a 13-year contract, years 7 to 13 are going to be cooked because his ankle is that bad. So are you telling me that his whatever it is that you're seeing with his abs or whatever the fuck, is that going to affect next season and the season after that? Because his contract is 3 years, right? So it's not just this year. The Warriors want him for next as well, even though this is a win-now trade. Is it going to be because of that? I don't know. And then the 3-month timeline is weird, Sam. Like, up to 3 months. So is he out a month? Is he out 2? Nobody knows. If he's out a month, I think you still do this trade. If he's out 3 months, then he's back for the Western Conference Finals. If you're there,
maybe.
If you're there, yeah, maybe. Right? Mm-hmm. If you're there, 2 months, you get maybe the beginning of the playoffs. Again, if you make it to the playoffs. Like, they got GP2 because he's supposed to play Saturday. He's supposed to play Saturday night against LA and kind of give him energy to win this next stretch of games. And now it feels like he's going to be out at least a month. At least. Dr. Lou. It feels like he's out at least a month. That's just not
what
good.
are the Portland Trailblazers doing, making him
Facts.
play, man?
Facts.
That's how I'm walking away from it because it feels misleading.
Yeah,
we got a friend of the show, Anthony Slater, just said this a little earlier.
Okay.
I'm gonna play it for you, let you react to it.
Okay.
Slater, what's the level of anger here on Bob Myers or Joe Lacob? Are they personally offended by this?
Yeah, the Warriors have been pretty upset today about the situation, the negotiations with Portland, and this, I guess how this all went down. And they're trying to figure out, kind of what their path forward is. But they made this deal because they wanted a win now player, and their win now player cannot play now, and they did not know that before they made.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does sound like Rick Celebrini, like on a basic level, is like he can't play. He needs time to deal with this. So, like, what the hell was Portland doing playing him the past couple of weeks? Like, I keep coming back to that where it's just like we literally just watched him on Wednesday. I thought he played kind of well against the Warriors too. Wasn't peak GP2, but definitely wasn't bad. You know what I mean? And they acquire him. The core's thrilled about acquiring him. And then you get this, To me, it's different than the Correa thing. And let me say this, why it's different than the Correa thing. Correa, they saw something predictive that had them worried that, like, after year 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's what I said, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be a lemon. I don't think the Warriors would have traded for GP2 if he can't help them right now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, they didn't know that, though. What I'm trying to say is, like, they didn't. Correa is going to help you right away, too. I think the issue remains the same. It's that both guys might be cooked after. Well, I think Correa might be after 5 years, which is why the Twins still paid him for 5+ right? What if GP2?
But that's the point. The Giants were probably looking at him as like, it's going to take us a couple of years to be in contention mode, but you'll be there for us. Like, and you're starting the process. Whereas, like, the Warriors were like, nah, man, we need someone now. We need someone right now.
I see what you're saying.
And yeah, man.
But they still don't. I feel like you still can't walk away though from this trade unless you see something that has that defective ankle that Correa has, where it's like you're done. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so the chat say, let's not talk Giants. Don't worry about that.
Don't talk Giants and don't talk Niners to me. It's don't talk about them. You know what I mean? Like, we talk Warriors only. It's a Warriors only show. Don't talk about those two teams right now.
You are right. Okay, so I think you say the report says he could be out up to 3 months. The wording's vague. Part of me thinks they're trying to make it sound worse than it is, just so
interesting.
They can get Portland to kind of rescind part of the offer potentially. But with all that said, I think a month is about the limit you can take for him to be out before you're just like, this wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, Jim wasn't helping you in that month, but if you're not, like, honestly, if he's going to miss that much time, they should have just kept Sadiq Bey. You know what I'm saying?
Which is not possible now. You can't do that.
Yeah, we're beyond that.
That's
but it's
beyond that.
But I think, but if you're Bob Myers, you're sitting here going, if I knew this, I would have just kept him or moved him for something else. Like, don't you feel that way? If you were Bob Myers and you knew GP2 could not play for a month and a half, would you not look elsewhere?
Would they have done that? Would they have just done Wiseman for Sadiq Bey if they said, all right, we got GP2's medicals, he's not good for this season? Would they have done it for Sadiq Bey? I
think they would have. I think. Well, let me tell you what I think. My thoughts are they knew the Jim era was over.
Yeah.
So they just needed to get out of it and, see what they could find there. Like, it's not like Sadiq Bey is some amazing player. Essentially, you're just swapping one disappointing player for a different one, right? But it's like this one might be one who works for you, right? What they actually wanted to do was swap him and get a vet who could help them now, which they did.
Yeah.
Until they didn't.
It felt like that was what they were going for all along, was a vet that could help them now, and that's not Sadiq Bey. Everybody's all like, I saw someone tweeted that Zach Lowe was saying how the Warriors should have got Sadiq Bey instead. Maybe he knew that GP2 was hurt, so maybe he's right. But if he said that, knowing that both guys were
a lot of doctors in there,
but he unless he like I assume he thinks that both guys were healthy and that Sadiq Bey is a better fit. It's just objectively false. They were looking. It felt like for a fact. It looked like they were looking for a vet that could do that. What's that? What's that up there? What's that? You just pulled up a comment there. Read that out.
Ethan Pierce throws out 3 months as an overestimation.
Who said that?
Where's that coming from, my man?
Yeah, who's that coming from? Oh, in the comments. That's interesting. So that I would be fascinated to know who said that. But it felt like they were always looking for a vet that knew the system that could play right away. And Sadiq Bey is someone that you're hoping is good next season. There's no chance. I tell you right now, there's no chance that Sadiq Bey is playing more than 5 minutes a game for Steve Kerr's offense.
But you follow the logic. If your choices are Sadiq Bey or Wiseman, given that Wiseman hasn't worked, you're like, well, let's give Sadiq a shot. Maybe he works more so. If your choices are Sadiq Bey or a healthy GP2, it's a no-brainer.
Sure.
But that's all I was getting at. Okay, he's just kind of guesstimating here.
I see who tweeted it. Dalton Johnson, friend of the show, by the way, friend of the show. I'll send you the tweet so you can pull it up here.
Yeah. Okay. So Dalton thrown out there that 3 months.
Here, I gotta send it to you. Here you go.
An overestimation.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know. All of this is we don't know. Like let's be clear with this. At this point, it's a lot of we don't know. No timetable until further notice is assessed, and everyone's surprised by it. So, really, we have nothing to tell you other than it's Friday night, and should be having a beer.
I should be doing more than beer, dude. This has been a rough go of it. By the way, his next tweet is GP2 could very much still wind up with the Warriors. Fluid, complicated situation.
Let's talk that and then let's call it.
Okay.
I think.
Yep.
How do you think this plays out? Other than your personal frustration right now?
If I had to guess, no source, just vibes. This is what people like me. Just vibes. Just Andy Liu being just. I think the trade goes through. I think it happens. I think GP2 sits for. I think they give us the 2-week reevaluation process. Classic. I think he comes back around the same time that Steph does. I think he misses about a month. The Warriors are 500 as usual when that happens, and then they'll make a run at the end of the season. I think that's what happens. What do you think?
By the way, we got people in the chat telling us from Detroit you don't want Sadiq Bey.
I'm telling you, I don't want Sadiq Bey. I know he's not good. I know it. I know it. Your guess. Your guess.
I think the trade goes through. I think the Warriors are able to get the draft comp changed through the league. Mm-hmm. Give up 1 extra second. Joey gets a chance to get another Ryan Rollins in there. Ooh. Everyone wins. That's where I'm at. But it's interesting because we haven't talked about this, and the chat's brought it up a few times now. They can't bring Wiseman back. Like, someone in the chat goes here. Jason saying the relationship with Wiseman is toast now. Restraining the trade does nothing but inject even more bad vibes into this team. They need that gone now. Let's talk about this for a couple minutes here.
Okay.
One, he's just going to go straight to Santa Cruz.
Yep.
So he's not helping the team. 2, did you notice how no one on the team had like a goodbye post for a lot of welcome back GP2 things? I think both sides, he needs to go to a rebuilding situation to play. The vets were kind of over the questions and all that sort of
Draymond
stuff.
Had a show saying, Draymond had a show. He had a pod. I know. I'm with you. The relationship is over. It's over. They'd send him to Santa Cruz. He wouldn't be heard from until the offseason when they would trade him. For
even less than they got right now. Or maybe just Sadiq Bey again.
I'm sick of hearing Sadiq Bey's name.
This is the most Sadiq Bey talk you will ever get on the Light Years podcast.
Way too much. And he cost the Warriors a win this season, just all around. Not good vibes from Sadiq Bey. No more Sadiq Bey. You would think, though, that the Warriors, I think maybe they're too far. Maybe that's why Portland is kind of holding on. And they're just like, hey, like, we're not going to amend anything. Looks like Adam Silver, looks like ESPN reported a few times that they can't amend it. But there's always exceptions. You know what I mean? If this happened to LeBron, you think LeBron's getting an exception? 100%.
Yeah, they can't.
100%.
They can't amend it without league office approval.
Yeah, just get the
And
approval.
league office only does that sort of stuff if things are very atypical. So, like, you know, when the refs tweet out they have sleepless nights.
Well done. Well, that's exactly what I was thinking. Oh, hey, actually, last thing before we go, you're not gonna do a show tomorrow night. You're out of town. I need your Super Bowl pick. I need to know who you think's gonna win.
I am going with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't do it with those Philly Eagles. I'm going to go
Yeah, me too.
27. Wow. 20. That's my pick. Philly's good. I think we get a Pat Mahomes masterclass, even though he's a little banged up. That's my pick. We got a comment here that I want your pick real quick from our guy No Cap. Sam, look at Dr. Narav's Twitter about GP2. Rescind the trade. Trade-wise in offseason. He's had 4 surgeries via the Athletic. You know what? I'm not playing the doctor game. Not going to play the doctor game. We bring doctors on here, just to be clear.
Dr. Narav gave a pretty clear. I mean, he didn't predict anything. He just said basically, most of the time, 90% of players return to play after 4 to 5 months after the surgery.
And he got surgery in September, so 4 to 5 months is now.
Yeah,
actually, it was a month ago, to be honest.
So it's kind of around the timeline. What is Portland doing? What the hell is Portland doing?
Trying to get out of the contract. That's what they're trying to do.
Grow up, man. Grow up. I will. I'm picking the Chiefs. I'm with you though. It wouldn't surprise me if the Eagles won, but I'm picking because I love Goat Holmes, man. That's my guy. I love Mahomes. If one guy's gonna win a championship, I want to see Mahomes win 2. I want to see him win 3. It goes Brady, Montana, and then I'm hoping it's Mahomes. Hope he gets 3 to 4. So
we'll see.
There you go.
Appreciate everyone. Hopefully we don't have to do any more emergency podcasts. Later, guys.
All right, guys.